It's the 1st of September 2022. In just 1 month and 10 days' time, it will be the end of the monastic rains retreat for this year. The entire period of this retreat is 3 months or 90 days, and 50 days have passed already. So we see how the days and the nights, they steadily pass by and fall away. And what are we doing right now? And the Buddha had us contemplate this each day, had us recollect death every day. Recollect the ending, the deterioration of sankharas, its conditioned phenomena. So we think about death and use this as an object of recollection or of mindfulness, as marananusati. And when we do that, then the worries and the concerns in our hearts can be relieved. And even though we may have many duties, many burdens to do, but we recollect and think about death frequently. In the space of 1 day, we recollect death many times. This can bring up a sense of peaceful dispassion in the heart, seeing how these lives of ours are not sure, but death, however, is for certain. And we hear news about this every day. Hear that this person has died, this person got into an accident, this person killed someone else, someone who died from old age, or a child sitting in a van going to school, and this child died. So we contemplate like this, bringing the hearts to peace. And the anger, the delusion, the greed in our hearts, even though that may be very strong, it can be relieved. And if these are very strong, then other meditation objects, the mind just may not be able to stay with them. And so then we bring the mind to this contemplation of death. And this is how Venerable Ajahn Chah taught. That when we recollect this, there's this peaceful dispassion, disillusionment in the heart. Joy can arise from understanding this truth. It can be rapture, joy, happiness come up. Or this can come up through other meditation objects, like being mindful of the breath or recollecting the Buddha. This rapture and happiness can arise. And sometimes for practitioners, when there is this happiness and rapture in the heart, then maybe bright lights may appear, maybe even nimittas, or these mental visions may appear, and they be possible to be many of them. But what we need to understand is that we don't practice for the sake of bright lights. And really, there are many lights anyway. The cities that we live in, they're full of lights. And these are external lights. But what we need is the light of wisdom. And we can use this wisdom to train our minds, to bring the minds to peace. So this here is panya. And when we use that panya, then there's joy, happiness arising in the heart, and that's correct already. So this is the way of practice that is straight. And some practitioners, they see bright lights and they get deluded by those lights. They may see the past, see the future, and they get lost in the past and future. And these things they're seeing, they're not sure. And this is not the way to be freed from suffering. For people who have these experiences, they need wisdom to be able to know and let go, to not attach. And the people who don't have these experiences, they shouldn't compare themselves with others. They shouldn't think that they get nimittas or lights and I don't get them. Shouldn't think that people who get these things are better than people that don't. So what's important is peace, is this happiness, this joy in our hearts, is a mind that isn't scattered and restless, contemplating the body with wisdom so that we can let go. Or maybe there is this piti, sukha, ekaggata, this joy, happiness and one-pointedness of appana samadhi, this accents, collectedness. And here there's no bright lights, it's just peace there. So Ajahn Chah, he didn't praise these bright lights. What he said was, have mindfulness, make your samadhi firm so that wisdom arises. And when there's wisdom there imbuing the heart, then we can let go of all the sense impressions that we experience, and then suffering just isn't there for us. And this is the way of practice that is straight. It's not crooked, it's not roundabout. So we should train ourselves like this. So some people, they get these lights and they get deluded in them. They see visions, maybe of heaven or hell, but it's possible that what they're seeing isn't real, and yet they cling to these. And Ajahn Chah said, this isn't the way. Practice so that peace arises, and take this as your principle in the practice. Steadily erode the sense of self. Have a lot of mindfulness. So our kammatthana object, this is the basis of our work, and something that we should do. And whatever meditation object that we like, then we train in that, and have confidence in that this is a method that will bring the mind to peace for real. So really do that a lot, do it consistently, and in the end, the peace grows and grows. And we gain a rapture and a happiness which is able to hold at bay all of the chaos that was in our hearts, all of the ill will there, the lust, the liking towards sights and sounds, smells, taste, tactile sensations, or Dhamma aramanas, these sense objects that arise within the heart itself. And the mind, it's not scattered here, it gathers together into one. And we're able to pass over the things that obscure or obstruct the goodness of our hearts, these 5 hindrances, out of craving for sensuality and ill will, this drowsiness, lethargy, this restlessness and doubts. So we can pass over those things. We're able to suppress these hindrances. And we see that this mind that we've trained well already, it brings us happiness like this. And here we gain a resting place for our hearts. And then when the mind starts to proliferate, then we have mindfulness there, contemplating, in order to see the anicca, dukkha, anatta, the change and the suffering are not self or physical and mental things, so the wisdom arises. As wisdom comes up, and we can let go. So train like this. For myself, when I was practicing, in the beginning I just followed Ajahn Chah's teachings. I didn't have any lights come up, I didn't have nimittas come up. And sometimes practitioners, they say that they get these lights, that they know this, they see that, but in the end these things, they degenerate, and then they can suffer a lot. In samadhi it has many different types, and sometimes in samadhi there are very bright lights that appear, but we need to be careful around these. And sometimes we may be sitting in a dark place, and yet we feel as though we're surrounded by light. And when we open up our eyes, then we see there's no light there. And this is an issue of samadhi. When there's samadhi, there's happiness, there's joy. And so this is correct. There's no need to worry about this. This is the way. It's vitaka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. It's initial and sustained application of the mind, rapture, happiness, one-pointedness. This is in the Noble Eightfold Path. And in the Noble Path it doesn't talk about lights. And the light that we want is the light of wisdom, knowing clearly, seeing reality. And when the Buddha said that light has arisen for me, what he was talking about was wisdom, knowing clearly, seeing reality. So practice this way. This way is correct. Set your hearts on this, and you will know the Dhamma, see the Dhamma. So may you be intent on this practice.